Hey, comic lovers, EMoney here, and the old man here with me again. All right, so what are we talking about this week? Well, we got a lot going on. We are talking a lot of movie trailers dropped this past week, so we're going to be discussing a few of them. And
None of them are Marvel, are they?
Well, I'm going to mention it, but I'm not going to, go into too much detail.
Watching you.
Also, I took a little trip up north to Columbus this past weekend for GalaxyCon Columbus. I'm going to be recapping a few highlights from that one. Also, we have our comic book reviews and previews. Then, we're going to be talking about what the old men are going to be up to this weekend, and we're going to be pretty busy. All right, so the old man and I have been binge watching Family Matters recently, so for today's greeting, I just want to say, hi ho, everyone! I can't do it like I used to.
Yeah. Help me. Help me.
All right, and no, I am not doing the snort. I'd be out of commission for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. You can let us know that you're going to be where we are this weekend, or give your 2 cents on some of the stories we're going to be covering, or comic books, whatever you want to do, or just say hi. We like it when you say hi. All right, so this past weekend, Saturday, I took a trip up to Columbus, Ohio for GalaxyCon Columbus. It's a great convention that they hold. Well, I don't know if they hold it every year, but they held it this year, and it was a lot of fun. I reunited with a couple of old friends and saw a lot of great cosplay, and I met a celebrity or two. So the big highlights, celebrity-wise, were first thing I did when I came into the convention hall was I made a beeline for the line with Jody Whitaker, a.k.a. the 13th Doctor from Doctor Who. And it was already a pretty long line. I got there maybe 10:05 at the latest. Doors open at 10. It was already a line, but it was manageable.
Were people allowed to come in early for any reason?
Not that I know of. So I got in line, waited for her, and she was so great. I mean, I saw her interacting with the fans who came through, and she was a lot of fun, all smiles the entire time. When I got up to her, it was a little rushed because there were so many people. Not Jody's fault, but I got the autograph. I got she drew 2 hearts on it. So it was fun, but the real thrill came when I got into her line for the photo op, which came a little later in the day. I got up there, and there was a girl who was 2 people ahead of me in the line, and she was dressed as Jody's doctor, 13th Doctor, and she was not shy. She wrapped Jody in a big old bear hug, and Jody, she hugged her back in kind, and it was a lot of fun seeing that. And
So she gushed.
Yeah, she gushed. Yeah, and I think she even mentioned that she had come all the way from Texas to meet her. So that's commitment there. Only a few times I've gotten on a plane for a convention, and it wasn't for any one specific person, I don't think.
Yeah, we got on a plane to go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Didn't meet a single celebrity while we were there either.
No, that was pre your celebrity days.
Yeah. All right, and then I got up to her, and I had 2 sonic screwdrivers in my hand. I had Jody's sonic screwdriver, and I had Matt Smith's sonic screwdriver. So when it came to be my turn, I pull them out and I say, can you hold this for the picture? And she gives me this really serious look for a second, like, I can't do props or something like that. I was afraid she was going to say that. So then, she, reaches into her back pocket, and she's like, I brought my own.
She was packing.
Like, oh, well, of course you do have your own. So she held hers, and I held this one up, and made for a pretty great picture and cool experience.
You tell me the damn thing was loaded. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You nerds.
So that was Jody Whitaker. And then I met Vincent DOnofrio. Really, really cool guy.
Great actor.
Mm-hmm.
Damn good actor.
And as you can see from the picture, pretty tall guy too, in case you didn't know.
I didn't.
And when I got up to meet him, I guess I gushed a little bit because I started babbling a little bit because I didn't know what to talk about. and I mentioned how his episodes in Hawkeye was some of the best stuff in the Marvel Disney Plus shows, and the whole fight with him and Kate at the end of the show. It's like, Kate, you're like fighting way out of your weight class here. And he kind of chuckled, and I said, and it even had me worried, this fight scene, because I didn't think they were going to kill Kate, but it looked pretty bad for a while there. And then,
seems like he should have.
Right. And then they make it look like they killed you. I mean, they tried to make it seem up in the air, but it's really not. And then, he smiles and he's like, it's not. It's not. So, having that interaction with DOnofrio, that was a lot of fun. And then finally, I met Matt Ryan of TV's Constantine.
Well, see, whenever you mention Matt, it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
Because, to me, he is Constantine.
Okay, well, you're getting ahead of me here, old man.
Okay, sorry.
So, I talked to him, and, I actually brought the old man into the conversation a little bit, because I told Matt, we watched everything you've been in as Constantine, and it's been a lot of fun. And, both of us, my dad especially, my dad always says how, some actors become the character. And, this is what I said to Matt. And my dad says, like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Christopher Reeve is Superman.
Superman.
Right. Matt Ryan is Constantine. And I say that, and Matt's like, high five. And he's like, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And, I hope I get to play the character again soon.
See, that scares me. Because that leads me to believe that there's been no talk about him playing it again.
I mean, any time Constantine comes up in any animated projects, they usually get Matt Ryan to do the voice, which, logical.
That doesn't fill my Matt Ryan need.
No? Okay. So, all these interactions, had a lot of fun, and it was a great time to be had at GalaxyCon. And you can go to GalaxyCon.com, I believe it is, and they have a lot of upcoming shows in different cities coming up in the next year. All right, so that was GalaxyCon. Now on to don't know why I put that away. On to what we're going to talk about on our next topic is a lot of trailers dropped this past week. And we're going to be doing some brief discussions, reviews on a few of them here. So first up, what a lot of people are the most excited about, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the 5th installment in the Indiana Jones series. So some of the cool stuff in it is we see the return of Sala, a.k.a. John Rhys Davies. I saw a recent post from one of my friends, John Wells, who talks about when he met John Rhys Davies a few years ago, probably the same time you and I met him. And John Rhys Davies told him, you'll notice how the Indiana Jones, the really great ones, are all odd number ones. Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Last Crusade, and then he says, you'll notice they're the ones that I'm in. And, he gave John a wink. So, number 5, Sala's in it. So, we're hoping that it's another return to form for the Indiana Jones series.
I mean, I honestly like them all except for the what's the
Crystal Skull?
The Crystal Skull, that was
I mean, Temple of Doom is good. I mean, it's not a horrible Indiana Jones by any stretch of the imagination, but
the mine car roller coaster ride was a little ridiculous.
Okay,
but other than that, it was all right.
It is probably my least favorite of the original 3. So on that, John has a point. All right. So also in this trailer, we see no mention of Mary or Mutt, his son and wife, from what we saw at the end of the Crystal Skull. So I'm not sure if they're going to be totally removed from the movie, or they're going to be mentioned at all. I don't know. Did they die? I don't know. So I guess, well, unless they spoil something in the next trailer, you never know, because they've been known to do stuff like that.
Stupid stuff.
But maybe we'll find out in the movie what the fate of Indy's family is. All right, so that's Indiana Jones and the Dial of... And did anybody else catch that brief shot of they're in what I assume is a submarine, or it might be a plane, I don't know. but from the view that the camera has, it looks like that they're flying through hyperspace on the Millennium Falcon. So if anybody, it's right after the guy yells, "Indy!" And then you see the shot. It looks like the Millennium Falcon to me. Watch that and see what you think. All right, so next up, from Marvel Studios, the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 trailer. And I can't really say anything else about that because, as you guys know, or you may know, the old man does not watch the Marvel trailers.
No, they've ruined too many things for me.
Yep, so ever since Captain America Civil War, he just sort of...
Didn't need to know Spider-Man was going to be in that. I'd have gone anyway.
So, do you know anything about the villains in Volume 3? Have you heard anything?
Nope.
Okay. I'm pretty... If I said it, I think he would be reminded and like, oh yeah, I knew that. But I can't be certain,
Since I intentionally try not to even think about it. Let's move on next.
So, can't talk about it. But I have seen it. We're aware of it. It's coming. We're excited. Okay, next up. This one is a series, The Last of Us from HBO.
Now, I didn't play the game. I'm not a huge video game player. I watched you play the game many hours because it was so entertaining. Also, I like zombie stories, as you well know, and some of you know. I really dig the zombie stuff.
Yeah.
But are we going to do a reaction video on this? Is it going to drop all at once? How are they going to do it?
Let's see, HBO. What was the last HBO Max show we watched? I'm not sure. I feel like it releases every week. Dragons, yeah, okay, House of the Dragon. Okay, so yeah, they're going to release it week by week.
So if our schedule isn't too...
Yeah, we'll check our schedule.
I would like to do that.
Yeah, it comes out next month, so, I think our schedule is going to be fairly open by then.
Since we screwed the pooch on the Star Wars reaction video.
Well, you know what? In hindsight, I'm kind of glad we didn't do Andor.
Yeah, because it was kind of flat.
Yeah, I mean, guys, if you watch Star Wars Andor, it was, not horrible, but there just wasn't a whole lot to react to. There weren't any, big, whoa moments. There was
no sneaky guest appearances.
No. It
was kind of flat.
It was on the slow side. So
it was like, well, we have this movie, Rogue One. Mm-hmm. Let's back up and show us getting there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
we needed to, but okay.
When Forrest Whitaker's character showed up, I think it was the biggest oh hey.
It wasn't that big.
Yeah, it wasn't that big, but yeah. So I'm kind of glad we didn't do that. Looking back now. All right, so The Last of Us. It looks like, from what I can see from the trailers, it's gonna stick really close to the source material.
I don't care.
You don't care?
I'm not hooked into the source material like some of these people are.
I mean, you kind of are since you watched a lot of it.
A little bit, but
But I mean, one of the problems that, Resident Evil, another zombie series or zombie-like series, Last of Us is infected, not really zombies, but anyways,
whatever.
They strayed really far from the source material in the movies. And it looks like The Last of Us is going to try to, stick with it as closely as they can.
I just want it to be entertaining.
And in doing so, it seems like the way it's going to happen, similar to the way it happened in the video games, is you're going to have, a slew of guest stars every episode or maybe every 2 episodes as new allies and enemies show up throughout the series.
Okay.
So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Give me some cool-looking infected, I'll be happy.
Right, and it looks like they're gonna do that for us. All right, and then the final trailer that we watched this past week was Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Now that's your cup of tea. Zombies are mine. You and the Transformers.
Well, don't give me too much credit on that. I mean, I like Transformers, but I didn't watch the cartoon shows religiously.
No. But every Transformer movie that came out, when we did, they were all in our summer movie marathon, and we always rate those movies 1 to whatever at the end of the summer. For you, the Transformer movie was always number 1.
I don't know if it was always number 1.
I can prove it because I have them written down.
I just can't imagine the 5th Transformers, The Last Night. I can't imagine I put that at number 1.
It may not have been a summer movie, but whatever.
Okay. Well, anyways, so the last Transformers movie, which was Bumblebee, that got a lot of praise because it had a lot of heart to it, because it wasn't just about a bunch of Transformer robot mashing fight scenes, and it had a lot of heart to it with excuse me, the relationship between Bumblebee and Haley Steinfeld's character.
I think Bumblebee is probably my favorite Transformer.
Right, and also John Cena's character was a lot of fun. Excuse me.
Somebody's coming down with something.
So the question is Rise of the Beast going to be a return to form with just a bunch of robot mashing fight scenes, or
God, I hope not.
is it going to excuse me, is it going to try to keep some heart to it? Well, we'll find out. Excuse me. All right, I'm going to grab a cough drop here. So that is movie trailers that we watched this week. Now, let's take a look at comic books. All right, I got myself some water and a cough drop, so hopefully I'm ready to go for another segment.
So, you gonna make it?
I think so. All right, so comic book reviews. Now, first up is our mentions for this week.
All right, first one we want to mention is Star Trek #2 from IDW.
Okay, so in this issue, in the previous issue, we learned that Captain Sisko has returned after missing for several years, having come back from the black hole, and he has asked Starfleet to let him embark on a mission to save the galaxy from.
Which they're not real keen on because they want to talk to him.
Right, but he's insisting and just asking them to have a little faith in him, and the Starfleet gives him some leeway. A crew and a ship.
Not only that, but he pulled out a big gun and called up
Picard.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about Star Trek, you wonder why would Sisko have called Picard of all people to vouch for him? Well, because Picard knows a little something about being taken by aliens and then having to earn people's trust back.
And he's evidently at this point has some clout.
Right. So they give him a ship and a crew, including Mr. Data and Dr. Crusher.
And the pilot from Janeway's mission.
Oh, okay.
What was his name?
I don't know. I haven't watched Voyager yet, so.
I can't remember his name. Paris.
Okay. So in order to get past this section of space where they need to go, they need to appeal to the Klingon Empire. So Sisko gets a little help.
That always sucks.
Yeah. So Sisko gets a little help from his friend, Mr. Worf, who now works as an ambassador for the Empire. And things don't go exactly as planned, so they have to improvise. Now, one of the things I enjoy about this series so far is they do an exceptional job of getting the likeness of the characters from the show and also the actors down in this. Something that I've mentioned before, the current Firefly series has a lot of trouble doing. So that's why it got as high a score as it did. One problem with the writing, though, it gets bogged down in a lot of politics and then also a lot of pseudoscience. It's like, you don't have to explain everything, guys. Just tell us what's up and, let's keep it going here. So Star Trek #2 ends up with
3.5 shields after we rounded it up.
3.5 rounded up. All right, so next up.
Well, remember last week was the 5th week of a month, so it means there were some annuals. Well, the only annual we're going to talk about this week is Detective Comics 2022 annual.
Okay. So, with most annuals, it takes a departure from the continuing story and gives us sort of a self-contained story almost. And we get taken back to the past, to the origins of Gotham. And this is 1776, and it's the Gatham settlement.
Yeah, they switched the A and the O for something.
Yeah, Gathome. So Gatham settlement. So we see, this up and coming town here, and we see a self-righteous reverend priest, preacher,
some holy roller.
yeah, big surprise, self-righteous dude, and telling everybody what their sins are and why they're going to hell, and this medicine woman who has treated or cured just about everybody in town from one thing or another, because her abilities, and she's a woman, her abilities don't come from the Almighty. Of course, she must be a witch, right?
Makes sense to me.
Right. And 1776, that's a little late to be trying to burn a woman for heresy and calling her a witch, but I guess it might have still happened at that time.
Hey, there's some parts of the South that still might happen.
Yeah. So then, we see a lot of different characters introduced here, and it's almost like an Elseworlds story of, Batman characters or Batman-like characters who, exist during, the 1700s. So it makes for an interesting read, and the artwork, pretty solid throughout. So Detective Comics Annual 2022 ends up with
the same 3.5 shields after we rounded it up.
3.5 rounded up. Interesting read. Okay, so that is our mentions for this week. Now on to our top 3.
All right, and in the number 3 spot, Planet Hulk Worldbreaker. Now, I think this is continued. It's 2 stories, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I always liked the Planet Hulk story. I thought they were great.
All right, so this one is not your typical Hulk story because it takes place 1,000 years in the future. And we're on the planet Sakaar.
Which is where he went, Planet Hulk.
And it's not a story of Bruce Banner Hulk. It is a story of his descendants and the Hulks that came after him. Well, now on Sakaar, Hulks are treated as threats and are considered to be outcasts, and they're hunted. And so we see what the descendants of Hulk have to do in order to survive. And it's sort of a dystopian alien world story. So there's that. Also, in the back here, you have a backup story that involves Scar, right? Yeah, Scar, Hulk's son, and Jen Walters, a.k.a. She-Hulk. And usually I don't care too much for backup stories. I mean, usually I feel like, they're backup stories for a reason, because they,
This was, in my opinion, the backup story here was better than the lead.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed this one. So that is why Planet Hulk Worldbreaker, number 1, our number 3 pick for this week, ends up with
3.5 shields.
3.5. All right, next up.
Now, I'm a big fan of Justice Society. Always have been. This one's different. It's very different. So here we have Justice Society of America, number 1.
Okay. So this has a big time travel element to it where we're kind of hopping all over the place. So it's in about 26 the beginning of this. It takes place about 20 years in the future, and a new Justice Society is formed, and it doesn't have a whole lot of the old members in it. And
I think the only old member is Power Girl, if you want to consider her an old member.
Right. None of the original members, and a lot of the current members are either reformed villains or descendants of villains.
So I think Huntress leads, right?
Huntress, or is Power Girl just the muscle, or is she the leader?
She's not the leader.
Okay.
She's constantly saying, this is bad, we shouldn't trust these people, they're going to turn on us.
Right. So Huntress is the leader, and Huntress in this story is the daughter of Batman and Selina Kyle, Catwoman. So early on in the story, the Justice Society are having an argument when all of a sudden they are under attack from a time traveler, and one who really knows his way around how to manipulate time to his advantage. So late in the story, Huntress is sent back through time, saying that she needs to prevent all this from happening and to find Dr. Fate. And story goes from there. So interesting stuff, and I just hope, with time travel, I hope they don't make it too confusing for us. So Justice Society of America, number 1, from the new Golden Age, our number 2 pick. With
3.5 shields also.
3.5 out of 5.
And last up, the number 1 spot. Here we have Avengers Assemble Alpha.
All right, speaking of time travel, we start off in this story with the Avenger Prime, or Prime Avenger. Make sure I got his name right. Yeah, Avenger Prime, who, when we start out, he has a post at a watchtower at the God Quarry. And for what I can tell, it looks like the afterlife of gods, where like Hades for gods, pretty much. And he does something that he hasn't done in eons. He leaves his post. And where does he go when he leaves his post? Well, he goes to the distant past on Earth, to prehistoric times. And as soon as he gets there, he is met by none other than Mephisto.
And that's who I want to meet.
Mm-hmm. And the two of them have a little chit-chat. Apparently they have some history. They talk when all of a sudden the Avengers pop up.
Which Avengers?
Well, the today's Avengers, and you take it from here, old man.
All right, so you have the Avengers that go back, which are Captain America, Starbrand, Valkyrie, Iron Man, Thor, Phoenix, Namor, Captain Marvel, and Nighthawk. And they run into the prehistoric Avengers, which is Moon Knight, a young Odin, one of the Iron Fist, prehistoric Ghost Rider who rides a woolly mammoth.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
And, prehistoric Avengers, you call a guy Moon Knight, it's like, doesn't make much sense, like, what's a knight in prehistoric times?
Agamotto, which is the Sorcerer Supreme, which one of
The Eye of Agamotto.
is named after, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the scariest one to me is Starbrand. It's a Red Hulk who has the Starbrand tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And that Starbrand tattoo comes with a boatload of power. So at any rate, they square up, of course. They see each other, and well, we got to fight.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who you are, so we're going to fight.
Of course, I mean...
Exactly.
Got to do it.
And
two teams meet up.
And then they run into the multiversal Masters of Evil, which is pretty scary guys there, too. But it's all cool until a superpowered Doctor Doom shows up, and then it all hits the fan.
A lot of people inexplicably showing up in this time setting. So...
Well, this is continued in the Avengers that comes out this week, and Avengers Forever number 12. So we don't get those 2 books. So probably not going to know what happens, but you guys can definitely chase it if you want. And that book came in at 3.5 shields also.
All right, number 1.
And next up, stuff that's coming out this week. This week was a short week. It was like I said, the 5th week in a month, which is usually short. And we only had a handful of books. I mean, we talked about right at half the books we got. This coming week, no, it's not like that at all. It's more than twice. This is one of the larger weeks we've ever seen. And that's thanks to Marvel. We're only getting 3 DC books, but we're getting 13 Marvel books. Wow. And then 4 indies. Now, the ones I'm looking forward to from DC, of course, are the 2 Joker titles. Batman and Joker, the Deadly Duo, number 2, and the Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, number 3. Those have both been very good stories. From Marvel, you have Secret Invasion, number 2. I think number 1 was one of our number 1 books, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yep. Miles Morales, for whatever reason, is getting his own new title. I don't know if they're going to relaunch the story or what, but Miles Morales Spider-Man number 1 comes out. And the Dark Web, one of those, I think it's a big crossover book. I think maybe. But #1 of that comes out. I mean, you've got Daredevil, you got Fantastic Four #2, Ghost Rider, Predator, Punisher, Spider-Man, Thor. I mean, it's all coming out this week. Yep, a lot of stuff.
All right, so those are the things we're getting, and if you want to engage us in conversation about comic books, you can get those at your local comic book shop right now. All right, so that is it for comic books. Now, let's talk about what the old men and I are going to be doing this weekend. All right, so this Sunday, December 11th, we're going to have our usual Whatnot auction, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Lots of toys.
Lots of toys, action figures, and you might get them just in time for Christmas. The following week, I'm not sure. I mean, that's up to USPS since, we're going to send them off, the very next day, but you never know. So, get them while you can, and you can get them before Christmas. And we're going to be having, Marvel, DC, independent toys.
All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of fun stuff. It's a nice mix every week on Whatnot.
We used to theme it, but we just go grab some toys.
Yeah, I mean, our best shows have been when we just said, what the heck. Okay, so Saturday, it is, we've been talking about it for weeks now. We have LouisvilleCon. The old men are going to be having 3 tables set up at this one. And it's going to be 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, December 10th at the in J-Town, and it is going to be, where is it? It's Triple Crown Pavilion, and it's going to be in J-Town here in Louisville, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have Joseph Rubinstein, who is a contributor to comic books from Frank Miller's Wolverine and a lot of other things. You can look him up online and see all the great stuff that he's been a part of. And you have Wrestling Hall of Famers, the Killer Bees, are going to be there, and a lot of cosplay guests, some voice actors, a lot of cool stuff here, guys. And of course, dealers and sellers from all over the area.
It's not EMoney and I went last year, just as guests, and it's a pretty nice little convention for a smaller show.
Mm-hmm. And, we just got our floor plans today for the show. And the old man and I, we got some prime real estate because we're like almost right smack in the middle of the convention hall.
And our 3 tables go all the way to an end.
Yeah, we're going to have a corner spot, which is kind of cool. So be sure to stop by and see us there and see all the cool stuff we're going to have. And I'm going to give you guys a little preview of what we're going to have. We're going to have, toys and action figures, of course. A lot of stuff. If you've ever joined us on Whatnot, we're going to have stuff that we don't usually have on Whatnot because the stuff that we're going to have at the show is too big to ship on Whatnot.
Well, it's not that it's too big to ship. We could ship it, but it's so big that I don't want to.
Right.
I mean, it's just some of that stuff's pretty good sized.
And also, we're going to be bringing comic books. Not our full inventory if you've ever been to our garage sale. But, we're going to have a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff. And you know what? We've been busy the last few months because if you came to our last live sale, which is our last pop-up, which is at the end of October, we've been busy since then because we've got a lot of new stuff in our inventory that you didn't see last time you saw us. And I'm going to give you guys a little preview of what you can expect at the show. So, just a quick run-through. First up, Power Man and Iron Man number 50. This is the first time.
Iron Fist.
Did I say Iron Man?
You did.
Power Man and Iron Fist number 50. This is when the title changes to Power Man and Iron Fist.
That's when it officially changed. It
officially
changed earlier, but it's a key issue.
So first, Power Man and Iron Fist team up. Then you have Moon Knight number 13. The first Moon Knight versus Daredevil fight. Then you have Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man and Mockingbird. And this is the first appearance of Bobby Morse as Mockingbird, right there. Then go over to DC here for a second. Firestorm number 3, first appearance of Killer Frost. Daredevil number 174, first appearance of the Hand and third appearance of Elektra. Then we have an early Avengers issue right here in pretty decent shape for a 12-cent comic book. Avengers number 27 right there. Then from Dark Horse Comics, we've got Predator number 1, first appearance of the Predator in comic books. Now this is cool. This magazine is Haunted from a Charlton publication. This 10-cent cover price book, it has Steve Ditko cover and interior art in it. So if you're a Steve Ditko collector, connoisseur, you probably want to pick that one up. Then you have Action Comics number 521, which is the first appearance of Vixen. We just got this one last week. Fantastic Four number 44, first appearance of Gorgon.
It's one of the Inhumans.
Star Wars Kanan number 1, The Last Padawan, and give you guys a quick look there. So this has a lot of stuff going on.
First appearance of everybody.
First appearance of Kanan Jarvis, first cameo of Ezra Bridger, and Sabine Wren, a Mandalorian, which if you guys watch Star Wars Rebels, you probably know all that stuff. Black Goliath number 1, which is also the third appearance of Black Goliath. Captain Marvel number 32, which gives us the origins of Drax. Marvel Chillers number 1, which is the first appearance of Mordred the Mystic. Tales to Astonish number 65, which debuts Giant Man's new costume.
He didn't keep that costume very long.
Yeah. Then you've got X-Men number 137, which is the death of Jean Grey. And then finally, X-Men number 221, first full appearance of Mr. Sinister. So these are just the ones, or not even all of the ones that we've acquired.
Oh, definitely not all.
Over the last few months. These are just the new ones. So, gonna have all kinds of cool stuff. If you've never been to one of our sales, come check out everything we have. And like I said, a lot of other great dealers in the area are going to be at LouisvilleCon.
Now, if you can't make it to the convention this Saturday, start saving your nickels and dimes, because we'll be opening up the pop-up shop late April, early May, depending on weather. And let me tell you, those first couple of Saturdays that were open, ooh, gangbusters.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to about do it for this episode. So there's really no reason for you guys not to see us this weekend.
Well,
I mean,
if you live in Los Angeles, maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you can't come and see us in person, you can come and see us on Whatnot. I mean, really, there's no reason for you not to see us this weekend. All right? So you will see us this weekend. We might not see you. You will see us this weekend. I'm telling you. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Excelsior.
True believers, if you're one of our viewers and you make it to the convention, make sure we know who you are.
Right.
We'd like to attach a face to the viewer.